New to Gundam and trying to figure out where to start? I'm Adam Blue and this is Gundam Explained. Let me help you figure out where to start with Gundam. Alright, I'm gonna make it easy. The easiest way to start with Gundam is just to watch the original show, 0079. You can watch this on Crunchyroll. It has an English dub and there's 40 plus episodes. Probably the best way to experience it because you're gonna get the story from all the characters. Now there's another way, an alternative. This is the movie trilogy, which you can actually find on Netflix. Now the movie trilogy is only subtitled, there's no dub, so if you really like to hear the English, it might be best to go with the show. Personally, I think that's the best way to go, because reading the subtitles, you're gonna miss a lot of the awesome action and animation. But let's touch on animation. I've noticed it's hard for people to really wrap their heads around the animation from 1979. You know, people, depending on your generation, depending on your age, that might be easy to get into. But if you're younger and you're not into that older animation, just give it a try. The story of the original 0079 Gundam alone will pull you. I would just say after that, jump into Zeta. Same thing, it's got a dub of the show. You can watch it on Crunchyroll. Now, so far what I spoke on are what's considered Universal Century. It's like the main timeline of Gundam. Within Sunrise, the company that made the show Gundam, they started making alternate timelines. Now, me personally, I'm not really into them as much as I'm in the Universal Century Gundam, what with all of its lore, stretching so many generations. But the AUs are kind of fun, especially if part of getting into Gundam happened to do with the mobile suits. You get a whole bunch of cool mobile suits from all the different AUs. Another idea to keep in mind is once you've watched 0079, you can even check out what's called The Origin. There are a few episodes of that, or movies, whatever, OVAs, I think that's what they're officially called in Japan. But it's kind of like the prequels of Star Wars. You get background information on the characters, especially the main villain, Char. Yeah, very similar to the focus of Anakin in the prequels. Because at the end of the day, with Universal Century, you're going to get some riveting, but also maturely themed storytelling that has to do with war, death, but taking a serious approach to it, because, for instance, Luke blows up the Death Star with the X-Wing, they all celebrate afterward. Amuro kills a couple soldiers in mobile suits and he has PTSD. All of a sudden, he is bedridden, doesn't want to go out, interact with anybody. It's pretty interesting stuff. And I think the best course of action, and again, in my opinion, is to go through the UC timeline. I'd say there's nothing wrong with going in order of release, because there are some shows that happen at a different time. Like Unicorn is in like the late 90s of UC, that came out in the late 2000s, but 0083 Stardust Memory, that came out in the late 80s, I think early 90s. So we can see that there are some time jumps that have to do with when the OVAs come out, but I see no problem just watching in the order of release. When it gets to AUs, that's a little harder. A lot of it has to do with nostalgia. Stuff like Wing, Seed, G Gundam, it has a lot of nostalgia tied to it. I've went back from not watching those when I was younger, watching them as an adult. They're okay. They're not something I would really want to spend my time with. I mainly do it for the channel. But I would say a show like Gundam 00 is it's a good take on the original concept of Gundam, but it's its own timeline, unrelated. And right now, Witch for Mercury, it's currently on Crunchyroll. I think maybe some episodes are on YouTube, but there's a dub that's actually coming out. It's a few episodes behind. But if you're wanting to watch the latest Gundam show that's not related to any other Gundam, that's a good way to get into it. Crunchyroll will have an English dub for you. So start with the original show, English dub. You can watch it on Crunchyroll. Jump into Zeta. Don't skip Double Zeta. And then on Netflix, you can watch Char's Counterattack. It's a movie that's supposed to follow the events of 0079 and Zeta Gundam. But then there's also Gundam Unicorn. It's a show that I love. It is fantastic. Here's the thing though, I wouldn't watch it until you've watched the original shows. A lot of what's in Gundam Unicorn is well done fan service, callbacks, threads being closed. I first watched it before watching the original Gundam, and I just didn't like it. I didn't get what was going on. And as a more recent anime enjoyer, I gotta say, typically why I've avoided anime in the past is just on the surface. There's a lot of dramatization that is involved. You know, Universal Century Gundam seems to keep that at a minimum. So I think it doesn't matter if you enjoy anime or not, you're gonna like the original Mobile Suit Gundam. So what's also interesting is, why are you interested in getting into Gundam? I'm really curious. Can you post below if you found this video and got to the point where I'm asking what makes you interested in getting into Gundam, yeah, post it below, and also maybe if you have any other question about it. And how did you get into it specifically? For me, it all started not too long ago, maybe a year before I started this YouTube channel. I came across the real grade unicorn full armor at a GameStop. I didn't know what it was. It just looked like a badass robot. Bought it, built it, just looking at it, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. What is this from? What's the story? And that's kind of how it started. And again, it's unicorn, so I started with unicorn, and yeah, that wasn't a good idea. So I started with the OG, and it was fantastic. It's changed my life. Obviously, now I have this YouTube channel. And really, the purpose of the YouTube channel is to answer questions, learn more about Gundam, and kind of give it the visibility it should have in the West. To me, it rivals what Star Wars produced. Anyway, guys, just a quick, to the point, this is how you should start watching Gundam. If you have any other observations or recommendations, please post them below. But thanks for watching. We'll talk later.